We are just 1 week away from the halfway point of the Premier League season, which means it's time to hand out some superlatives. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Geoff Shreeves in the house, Mike Grella. I'm Aly Trost Martin. Grella was prepping hard and fast and furious for the segment, Geoff, so I don't know. Hey, look, he's got way more notes over there than Geoff's got one note card. Are you ready?
I have Geoff next to me. I have to show my good performance.
We believe in you, Grella. All right, you boys ready?
Yep.
Yes.
Here we go.
We might agree. We might disagree.
I think we'll agree on some of them.
And that's part of the fun.
Exactly.
I'll moderate. So let's get into it. The biggest surprise so far of the Premier League season is?
The fact that you invited me here. Biggest surprise, no question, Manchester City. Staggering. Who would have predicted this? Nobody. They were hot favourites to retain the title. Look at them. Incredible. I'm staggered still.
Yeah,
I look at life with more of a glass half full. So I was thinking biggest surprise in a more positive sense, but that's true.
That's
also a big surprise, girl.
That answer took me for a loop because I'm thinking, the biggest positive surprise, but that actually probably is the biggest surprise, Man City, what they're doing, and also the incapability of Pep to respond to it and continue to look so lost. And he's a big component. He talks about body language. His body language has been terrible since he's gotten to the spiral. For me, it's Nottingham Forest on the more positive side of things. I think some of the teams they've beat, the defensive capabilities that they've shown, I think that they really surprised me in a lot of results. And they're the only ones to beat Liverpool in their stadium, which is an incredible feat. So for me, that's the biggest surprise.
The other positive for Nottingham Forest, just to add, is that with teams like Manchester City sliding, you've got Manchester United, who's not looking like a top 4 contender. That gives them an even better chance, given that some of those bigger teams have not had the seasons that we would expect, Geoff.
I did have more. I also threw in there, in the same vein as Forest, my biggest surprises were City, the collapse. Other two biggest surprises, Forest and Bournemouth. You can't ignore what Bournemouth have done. Absolutely sensational.
Our producer, Jen, loved that answer.
Yeah, I just heard a strange noise in my ear, funnily enough.
Just a nice little woo. We feel you, Jen. Okay, biggest disappointment for the Premier League this season?
Ineos. The handling of Manchester United, the failure to act decisively, to indulge Eric Ten Hag, to spend £200 million, to then sack him. Dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. They've really made, and the whole Dan Ashworth farce as well, I think they've made a really, really poor start.
Yeah, for me, it's Man United. I echo that. And I just think it's okay to say rebuild, right? But I think now it's become a word that's too comfortable to use in big clubs and too big for Man United. You go to Man United, you have to win football games. You have to figure it out quickly. You don't have the luxury of saying, let's take a season and a half to figure out a new way to play football and new signings. This manager doesn't have his players. I mean, back in the day, yes, and I understand that it took time with Sir Alex Ferguson, but he won football matches, and he had quality in the club as well. But for them to drop into the 14th position and to watch them lose games at home, and to watch them not play with any pride.
But Mike, are you with me? That I'm putting it more on Ineos than I am the coaches or the players.
Yeah, for sure. I think when there's major problems at a club, it always comes from the top down, and I think that's a big component of why they're struggling.
Yeah, Geoff, where do you stand on where Amorim is at right now with this project and the timing of everything? Would you have rather seen Manchester United bring in Ruud van Nistelrooy, let him finish out the season, and then start this rebuild next summer? Or do you think it needed to start immediately?
There's obviously something wrong. It doesn't take a genius, does it? Because the results aren't good enough. So they've placed faith in Ruben Amorim, and he has obviously said to me he has his methods, he has his style. And it's going to take time, and it's going to get worse. You know what they say? To make an omelette, you've got to break a few eggs. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. Right now, it is very, very bad. Manchester United fans don't want to hear it, and they are trying to keep the faith. Also, as well, a lot of Manchester United fans as well are saying, look, this group of players, how many managers are they going to go through? Keep getting managers to the sack. The players aren't good enough either. So it's going to be an interesting watch the second half of the season.
Yeah, I think also for Man United, too, it's a project. They're going to give him time. He's a new manager. I think he's a good manager as well, and I think they're going to give him time. But they can say they're going to give you a year and a half, but you can lose the changing room quickly. You can lose your method quickly because when guys don't buy into it, and you know how guys buy into things? When you win games, when you show progress. So you can say, I'm going to get a year and a half. I'm going to get 2 years. I'm going to get all these. But you may not, because you may lose the fans and the locker room and things before that as well. You're at Man United. So I always find it interesting when Man United fans are like, it's a rebuild and it takes time. I understand all that. I'm not nuts. I understand all that. But also, at Man United, you don't get time. That's the nature of the beast. You don't get time. And so it's been a really slow start.
You looked like you were going to jump across the desk to add.
Well, I was going to say,
note in.
it's a tricky one, this, because you've got to see the long-term thing. But Ruben Amorim bristled the other day when it was put to him, well, look at Vitor Pereira. He's come in, 2 wins, instant effect. And he dismissed it. He played the same system as Gary O'Neill. So it's completely different. Well, it's not. He's changed things around. He's changed the players. He's had an immediate effect.
Mm-hmm. One thing is true, no matter what sport it is, winning fixes everything.
That's
There's
right.
no greater deodorant in the world than winning.
Ali, it's a results business. It's not
Exactly.
rocket. It doesn't matter what your system is. It doesn't matter how you portray yourself in the media. If you're winning matches, you do what you like.
Well said. All right, most fun team to watch in the Premier League at almost halfway through the season. What do you think, Grell?
For me, it's Liverpool. They score the most goals in the league, but I think also it's the balance of the way they play football. They like to go quick. They like to go direct. If somebody new was coming into football and said, who should I watch play football, I'd say Liverpool, because it's the most exciting brand of football. But they don't do it in a way that hurts them at the back. They don't do it in a way that's negligent at the back. They do it with balance, and they do it with so much quality, my God. And I think they're the gold standard of what the modern game should look like and what modern managers should try to be.
Rubbish. Absolutely way too predictable, conservative and safe.
Who do you got?
Tottenham are the most entertaining team
Also,
to
you
watch.
can't not say Liverpool. Come on, but
Tottenham are brutal.
back it up. Why Tottenham?
Tottenham are so entertaining because you know what you're going to get, which is complete unpredictability. And that is the conundrum that is Tottenham. They play, in a way, he's unapologetic, Ange Postecoglou. He knows that he'll get criticised. He doesn't care. He knows that when he's got a certain, large group of players out, he could perhaps be more conservative, sure, but no chance. He's going for it. He's going for the juggler. It's my way or highway. He says he wins a trophy in the second year. OK, let's see. Good luck with that. I just think they are fabulously entertaining, and I find him a breath of fresh air. Listen, it might not win many trophies. It might not lead to him being at Tottenham for a long time. Is he entertaining? Are his teams entertaining? As he said himself, are you not entertained?
Yeah. I mean, I think I agree with that as well. But if I was the guy paying him, I don't know if I would feel the same way.
That wasn't the question. Ali didn't say, if you were shelling out bucks, where's your money?
Grell is always thinking about money, all right? OK, team in most trouble.
I have to go back to Man United, right? Because I think the reason for this is that we could sit here for literally for
Jeff's
hours.
shaking his head.
We could sit here for hours and say that, well, this is where the issue is, or that's where the issue is. Oh, well, it's the manager, it's the players, it's this, it's that. And you could never get to the end of it, right? That's like someone, like a plumber coming to your house to fix your boiler, and you say to him, well, when is it going to be done? And he says, well, I have no idea. I have no idea when it's going to be done. I have no idea how it's going to be done. And by the way, I don't know how much it's going to cost you. I'd be like, get out, leave. And that's the big issue with them is how do you do it?
How much trouble do you think they're in? You're not seriously suggesting they could go further down the league, are you?
No, not in trouble, like direct trouble in the league. I think they'll be fine in terms of where
avoiding
they'll finish
relegation,
in the league.
right?
I think if they understand that probably Europe is out of the question for them, relegation is not in the conversation, I don't think at all. But trouble in terms of just when you look at them, right? Amorim himself says, it's going to take time. Well, how much time? And it's going to cost money. Well, how much money? And I think that's my concern with them, and that's why I think they're in a lot of trouble, because there's not a button you can fix. They've tried to press this button so many times now to fix it, and they're living in the past for a long time now, and I'm not quite sure how you fix it.
I'll tell you who'd love to swap places with them. Southampton.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
6 points adrift. I just think they have given themselves so much work to do in the second half of the season. Mm-hmm. They've got a new coach. His methods will take time to implement. I don't know how he's viewed after his time in Roma. He was at Roma, wasn't he?
For a short while. You wouldn't know.
Yeah, I had to double check.
You blinked and he was gone.
So I just think they've got it all to do. And again, it's a classic case. This conversation we have all the time as well. Russell Martin, he had his principles, and he brought Southampton playing up a certain way. Carried on playing that way. Should he have adapted? Should have been more pragmatic. Because did he have the quality of players to play that type of football against the quality of the opposition you get in the Premier League?
It's probably the biggest challenge, right? They come out playing the best possession, the best brand of football that comes to the Premier League. Now, you have to adapt. If you don't, you see what happens. Yep. So probably one of the most difficult jobs in football is coming up and being one of the most dominating teams coming up and then trying to, redo the whole thing and change the way you look at it. It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
I wonder what the plumber's saying when he shows up to Southampton's house. No good things, tear it down.
Leaks
you
everywhere.
Gotta take it right down. Exactly. All right. best Premier League player at this point in the season. Jeff, who are you going with?
Well, I did across the year rather than the season. I mean, best Premier League
from like all of 2024?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I guess we can do that. Why not?
Because it's difficult to split. I mean, I said Cole Palmer, best new signing. I think you've got to give real chapeau to Mo Salah.
Mm-hmm.
You do, yeah.
He's picked up where he left off. Mm-hmm. Arguably even better. He's even better form. In fact, I think he's on target for his best ever figures. Absolutely exceptional, and he's been this good for the level he's been at for the last 6-7 years is extraordinary. Yeah. So I think he's been outstanding. He's easily one of the top 3 Liverpool players of all time, and he's probably in the top 10 all-time top Premier League players.
If you're at Liverpool, do you sign him to a new contract, and if so, for how many years?
If I'm at Liverpool, I handcuff him to the desk until he signs.
Absolutely.
He's
all right, we know how Jeff would run a club.
Absolutely. And
that's like Grella style business.
You wonder him not having, you wonder him, worse than that, you wonder him not having the deal in place, how much that pushes him forward to prove himself and where he's at. And also, for me personally, I wonder, because he got the new cut, right? He had the afro going, he was going a little bit backwards with the hip. He got that all fixed up, and he's just gone like this. So maybe I need to look into that as well. For me, I have Cole Palmer as the best player in the Premier League right now. Let's put the football aside. Let's put the goals aside, the assists aside, the technical abilities, the ability to see the game. Let's put it all aside. He's just super cool. Like, not just because he does the celebration. Yeah. He's just super cool. He's calm. He's a footballer that I think we all tried to be. Just super cool on the ball, gets out of tight situations, sleek, funny. You know, like there's a video of him the other day, Megan, one of his teammates, and the smirk on his face. I just think that he's such an interesting player. And when I talk to my kids about football, I always go, watch that guy, because he's really cool footballer. He's awesome.
He looks like he's a kid playing at the park, just enjoying himself.
Yeah. And he looks like he's in 4th gear sometimes when he's going by guys. Yeah. He looks like he's just hanging out in 2nd gear. He's just like floating by them. So he makes it for me enjoyable to watch play football.
Sometimes that's when you're at your best, is when you're just having a good time. And Cole Palmer certainly looks like he's having a good time out on the pitch. All right, best Premier League manager. So, Jeff, you looked at all of 2024 with the player, and it's interesting with this one because if you look at all of 2024, I don't know. There's a couple of managers who maybe made a case at the beginning of the year, but certainly not now.
I think for the manager, I mean...
For all of 2024?
For all of 2024?
So you did that for the player, but for the manager, we can go...
It's my rules. I'm the guest.
Okay, that's true. Jeff calls the shots here. Go ahead, Jeff. Take it away.
I'll
just get up and go.
I think you've got to... I mean, the impressive managers, you've got to mention Iraola. You've got to mention Nuno as well. Yeah. I mean, the thought of Forest being back in Europe, which their fans are dreaming of. I think Forest, got 32 points right now. That's all they had in total last season. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely stunning.
34 points.
34 points, yes. Yeah. Stunning, absolutely stunning. But Arne Slot, I'm sorry, it's not just what he's done. He's replaced an absolute legend in Jurgen Klopp. He's done it so smoothly, so seamlessly, and with the minimum of fuss. And he's not got carried away at any point. He's never at any point said, yeah, we're going to win this or we're going to do that. I think it's been extraordinary, because often we see when a big personality leaves a club, often it falls apart. He's taken them to... They're different. They're a very different team. And I wouldn't say he's better or worse. That would be a daft thing to say. But, he's super impressive.
Whatever he's done, it's just been the right thing that the team needed.
100%.
His message has resonated. At the end of last season is when you saw Liverpool start to slide, and you wondered if Klopp's announcement coming at the time that it did maybe hurt the team more than help them down the stretch of the season. All right, Grell, what do you say for best PL manager?
I think I have to agree with Slot. You could probably put Maresca in the conversation as well. There's a lot of good managers now, but with Slot, I think it's the most interesting is it's like being a striker coming into a team that scored 30 goals, right? And now you've got to come in and replace that. What that pressure is like, or you've been signed for 60 million, 100 million. What that pressure is like is incredible. And he probably felt more than that. It's like Marco is going to come in after this and try to replace Jeff. There's a lot of big pressure. And it's a difficult task, And so I think with Slot, for me, the thing I like the most is that he didn't fix something that was not broken. He just kind of stayed out of the way. And sometimes that's the answer in football. It's like you got to do less than you think you have to do. And I think he's just given them more balance. He's added where he could, and he's just left a lot of Klopp's work alone in the big picture. And so credit to him that he's doing so well. He's flying.
Well done, gents. We'll see how those superlatives pan out as the second half of the season gets underway in 2025.